I was a little skeptical about this game. The idea of a new Nintendo IP should be exciting. Reeves was a little skeptical. Kyle, you played a lot of it, and you think...
The event that I went to play the game, I think Nintendo did it in a smart way, where they were like, all right, let's play ARMS. Here's a couple tips, and they kind of showed us like how to hold the controllers well and stuff. Like took their time to
Here's how you turn on your system.
Here's some Kool-Aid.
The systems were already on.
Make sure you take a break after an hour.
Exactly, but the thing that was nice about it is like I didn't go in just like swinging my fists. Like I went in kind of, all right, here's how I know how to play this game, and I got to play like tons of rounds. I think we played it for like 3 hours or something like that. So after that, after getting someone to kind of like give me like here's how to play the game well, and then playing it for like 3 hours, I walked away pretty excited for ARMS. Like I had a good time playing the game.
And so it seemed like the big takeaway is that there is strategy. This was what you were saying, and then I looked at the B-roll footage. And cut together a video, which is on the site now. And boy, I couldn't see it in there. It still just looked like so much chaos.
I mean, it definitely is not as deep as a typical fighter, but like there's a lot of room for dodging and jumping and like using and like taking in the right fists with you and using them correctly. And it is a boxing game, but it kind of slows everything down because you're throwing fists, and then the fists take a while to get to your opponent. You have time to perform counters. There's more windows to see things. For someone like me, who's not really a fan of fighting games, I don't really enjoy a lot of fighting games. I had a good time with it, and I felt like I was coming up with tactics pretty quickly, and like I found a character that I liked. We had like a tournament that I actually did okay in. Like I made it like 2 rounds, which is good for Kyle.
Quit bragging.
I almost won, really, if you guys want.
Yeah. He sent us a picture of the tournament board.
I was
He's like,
very
look,
proud
I'm in
of
the
myself.
final round.
You guys
just,
know
like,
me.
delete.
You guys have watched me play video games.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
it's
bad.
generally disappointing.
Kyle, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Serial.
But when you just have to put your arms and punch out with the controllers, then
Hold
you
on.
stand
That's
a
right,
chance.
that's right.
Yeah.
When you guys first played the Switch in New York in January, was that?
Yeah.
You guys came back and you were like, 1-2 Switch and ARMS, no good.
Well, hang on. We said arms, not sure about 1-2 switch. Woof. I think it was the
okay,
exact
but
phrasing.
I mean, those two were in the same conversation though, of like being very skeptical, don't know if they're going to turn out.
Definitely
right?
skeptical of ARMS for sure. I didn't play it at the event actually.
So you played 3 hours. What is different? You still haven't answered why you went from being...
I didn't play it in New York.
Okay.
This was the first time I played it. Did you play it, Ben Hansen?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Again, I
Reeves
played like
it.
1 round with Reeves, and it was very much that confused. You're on a show floor, like, all right, I'll use these motion controls and punch. All right, my guy has spring arms. All right, that's it. Moving on.
If you watch like the footage that we have where they just like really it was just like, all right, here, try this out. Like everyone's doing big, broad punches. And like really when I played, I had my arms down by my side and I would just kind of tilt my hands a little bit and I would just use a small movement, like push forward basically to do a right hand punch.
It's like the key to dancing well in the club. You don't want to flail all over, right? You want to like just small little movements. All you need, just Commander Shepard.
Exactly.
That's all you need.
I do wish they did not let us play without motion controls, which was odd. Like they were insistent that that's the best way to play. I don't know if that's true.
If you're on the airplane or something like that. Like, but I
Just
mean,
really
like,
elbowing your
you
partners.
got it.
but I'm curious though, because I think a lot of people are going to play it that way in mobile mode, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, you can definitely play without motion controls.
How would that
they
work
just
then?
didn't let us. I don't know. I mean, I think
just tap to.
I think maybe it would just be buttons to punch and then the control stick to move, and then maybe you can use both control sticks because you have a little aim on your punches after you throw them. So I think maybe you can use the control sticks to kind of aim them a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how it's going to play.
So all the stuff they showed off, it certainly seems like more variety than I expected, like in the different arenas and stuff like that, different modes. Is there a single player story?
I don't know. I asked them about it and they were being coy. So I really don't know what the single
I hope so.
player
That'd be
content of
cool.
the game.
Here's my question for you, Kyle.
Let's
By the end of your time with it, do you feel like if you were able to predict what your opponent was going to do, that you had the options to say, okay, he's going to jump, I know what to do to counter that?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like that's the foundation of a lot of sort of like good competitive games is do I have the tools at my disposal to counter if I know what my opponent's going to do, can I counter it? And
Did you find the
think
Ramen Girl Infinites?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I mostly
Again, I'm
played
sorry
with-
for joking.
I mostly
Gorilla
played
Grodd
with
is also
Ribbon
in that
Girl.
game, and that's where the infinite comes from.
And there's a new mode we played. There's the just standard 1 versus 1, which was fun, and then there was 2 versus 2, which is like chaotic but fun. And then they had hoops, which was cool because like basically that mode, all you're trying to do is pull off grabs, and when you execute a grab, you throw the other player into a basketball hoop, and it was fun. It was like goofy and weird.
That sounds cool.
Are you like controlling them? Is it like using magnesis in Breath of the Wild, or you're trying to?
No.
Okay.
It's just pulling off grabs, and then it's the closer you are to the hoop, the more likely it is to go in. The fewer points you get. If you can get a 3-pointer if you're far away from the hoop, you might miss and stuff like that.
That sounds pretty good.
I'm just going off what I've seen on Twitter. People comparing it to like this is going to be the Switch's Punch Out, but everything I'm hearing is it's more Fight Night.
It seems
more competitive. Yeah, more of a competitive fighter than like an arcade. Would you call that an arcade fighter where it's like?
I would call it. I think it
working against AI. It doesn't seem like that's what this is. If you're saying you don't even know if there's a single player game, it's more multiplayer focused.
Yeah. I mean, I think it might. You could call it an arcade game because it's pretty simplified. Like it's not overly complicated. So in that sense, yeah, arcade. But yeah, definitely more in common with like a Fight Night where you want to block and you want to take your time with like throwing out your punches. Where like Punch Out, you're trying to get in there quickly usually, and
you're looking
really
for tells,
yeah.
right?
So
you seem to be more invested in ARMS lore than probably anybody else in
including
the world right
Nintendo.
Now. Yeah, I think so. What can you tell us about the story and the world of ARMS?
My interest has since they first announced it was like, why do some people in this world have springy arms, and why do some people like? There's people with normal arms, and then there's people with these weird springy arms. Was there surgery to get them to be a part of the sport? But then there's a character named Twintel that they revealed who has her normal arms and then fights with her hair. So I don't know if she's just an exception, like she just didn't have to.
What's happening with the characters on the outside of the arena, like cheering on? What do they look like?
They look like normal humans with normal arms.
Oh, wow! And there's betting on these freaks.
Yeah, they're
like
usually
the
dressed up.
Fighting tournament.
Exactly, they're usually dressed up as the characters they're rooting for.
You know what it reminds me of? Yeah. That movie Real Steel with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
That movie's great, by the way.
It's better than it had any right to
tearjerker.
Be. So ARMS is out next month.
ARMS is out June 16th. Right, the Friday that we get back from E3.
Hey, that's nice.
Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can subscribe to the audio version and listen to new episodes airing every Thursday. We cover big games on the horizon, games that we've just reviewed. We have long-form developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So check it out every Thursday.